he was translating what I was saying, because it's difficult when I say terms like Uzi-toting, dope-sucking, psychopathic killing machine.
All beef patty, special sauce, lettuce, cheese, pickles, onions, and a
Oh, it's like smelling sauce to me. Could you play that again, Lou, in a loop there? Yes. How many years I was a night manager of Mickey D's from 1976, Justin Ellick, up in the Bronx, to 1979, the end of it, when Ronald McDonald summoned me from Oakbridge, Illinois, outside of Chicago, international headquarters. They stupidly moved into Chicago. How's that working out with the socialist Mayor Johnson? And they've since, in New York City, they had about 650 McDonald's. They're down to about 530. A lot of them they're closing because of crime. And I was up in the Bronx in between shows when I sat with Sid, as I do every Monday through Friday at 7:15. You don't want to miss it. If not, just catch it on the podcast. Go to WABCRadio.com. And I was in front of the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. and his wife, Mrs. Diaz, who host in their church in the heart of the South Bronx, the Hispanic Clergy Coalition, which has gone beyond just Hispanics. I mean, they have OAs, Original Africans, which populate the Bronx. They have West Indians, which populates the Bronx, and they also have African Americans. But more importantly, I was able to regale them in how I journeyed from Brooklyn back in 1976, from Osborne and Hegeman in Brownsville, never ran, never will, where I was living for 2 years, and then decided it was time to respond to the call of Ronald McDonald up in the Bronx. I saw a advertisement. They were hiring managers in Bronx McDonald's, and I thought, gee, it's Ronald McDonald. And Justin Ellick, you know who gave me my interview? The Hamburglar. Because the Hamburglar at that time was the most popular figure in the McDonald's line of products. Crime was off the hook. So I went for my interview to Allerton Avenue and White Plains Road, which was the training McDonald's. And it was like Little House on the Prairie. Quiet. Pelham Parkway, right down the road from Columbus High School. Mostly Jews, Italians, Irish, some Puerto Rican, some black, but relatively quiet. I lived a few blocks north on Burke Avenue. An old Italian guy owned this apartment building. I hated it, but, you know, it was what I had to do at that time. It was my first marriage to a woman who was from the U.S. Virgin Islands, Corinne Drayton. She didn't really want to be in the Bronx, but I told her, hey, when am I going to go back to Brownsville? The brothers there want to kill me, and I can't take you over to Canarsie because my cousins, the Supreme Cuisines, want to string me up. It was not the time of jungle fever. There was no acceptability of that, but it was what it was. And I learned how to become a night manager at Mickey B's at Allerton Avenue and White Plains Road. Eventually shipped over to East Fordham and Webster, which was out of control, gangs everywhere. And I got that McDonald's back in shape. You can actually see it in the documentary Vigilante with my partner Don Chin, who was my training manager, who said, you could either do it the McDonald's way and we'll carry you out with 6 and I'll give you a great eulogy, or you can do it the Don Chin way, the Vigilante way. And I chose life over death, and I did it the Don Chin way, and it was a good store. Now, if you go to East Fordham and Webster, some of you will be going there. It's lunchtime. And you know what, Justin Ellick? It's got a padlock. Because McDonald's Corporation in Chicago, of all places, Chicago, the most out-of-control city, said they could not find an owner or a manager to run that McDonald's. Too many pimps, too many prostitutes, drug dealers, drug users, homeless, emotionally disturbed in the lobby. So they padlocked it. So you pass that. That's the shrine of where I started the Guardian Angels, February 13th, 1979. It's padlocked. The McDonald's I trained in, 2 young boys shot, suspect still on the lam. People are like, man, it's getting so bad, and it is. So I had to trek up to the South Bronx. I had to pay tribute to the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. and his Hispanic clergy coalition that has expanded. There are Democrats there are Republicans. But probably for some of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, when you saw Donald Trump before 20,000 supporters in Crotona Park at the end of May, and boy, that was the turning point. Mostly black, mostly Hispanic, some white, some Asian, all different ages. To hear President Donald Trump speak, most of the background work, most of the heavy lifting was done by the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., a lifelong conservative Democrat. It's like an oxymoron. I don't think there's been a conservative Democrat since Mario Biaggi was running for the mayoralty from the Bronx. He was both a Democrat and he got the Conservative Party endorsement. It's a rarity. And he remains a Democrat. Unlike Dov Hikind, who has become a Republican, he has remained a Democrat. So there were Democrats in this religious hall. There were Republicans. And everybody knows Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. from that moment he was on the stage with President Donald Trump towards the end of Trump's speech, when he recognized all the people who made it possible, especially the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. and the Bronx Hispanic Coalition of Ministers.
Mr. President, I want to join you in having the Bronx great again. Please accept this Democrat, this black Puerto Rican with a kinky hair and a broken English. Please accept my endorsement for you as a president. Thank you very much.
Now, Justin, like I always watch my back. That's how I've survived for 70 years. There's no doubt this is how the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. and the Bronx Hispanic Clergy Coalition has made their bones. They were in the forefront of organizing that rally for President Donald Trump, which was, for me, the turning point. And from that moment forward, all those supporting Biden realized we're losing the Hispanic vote, we're losing the black vote. But when I walked in early this morning, I had to come back here. You give me a microphone like last night at the Whitestone Republican Club. I was substituting for Dick Morris, who had called in sick at the last second. So I was there lickety-split. Once you give me the microphone, as you know, Justin and Ellie, you don't necessarily get it away. So I brought with me my trusted guardian angel, senior director, Arnaldo Salinas, proud Puerto Rican, born on the island, grew up in the South Bronx, for 3 reasons. A, he's always been side by side with me in organizing the Guardian Angels. 2, he was translating what I was saying, because it's difficult when I say terms like Uzi-toting, dope-sucking, psychopathic killing machine. Normal translator like Sean Penn in that movie would never have been able to do it. Or the geriatric espresso-sipping psychotic killers of organized crime. Now, Arnold knows me, so he knows that. Other translators, they would have been befuddled. And when I first walk into the chambers of the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr., he offers me breakfast. He offers me the Dominican and traditional breakfast of mangú. And I looked at him, Justin, and I said, no way. Because remember, I know that the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. and the Bronx Hispanic Clergy Coalition has had Andrew Evil Eyes Cuomo there to speak many times over the years, my enemy of all enemies. For those of you who are not cognoscentes, mangú, man, that's an ICU visit waiting to happen. Man, that's ER. You get your Dominican salami there, your green plantains, your fried eggs. Forget it. You'll be in the ICU. And I was going to say, hey, you got the mofongo, the Puerto Rican alternative. And I said, no, man, that's coochie Frito hell. And deep fried pork, right? Fried pork skins, mashed green plantains. Chicharron. So I said, nah, just have a cup of coffee. But I could tell it was Bustelo and not El Pico, which I like. You see, we don't know yet where the Reverend Ruben Diaz Sr. will go in the upcoming mayoral election, because remember, he's still a Democrat, so there will be a spirited Democratic primary. Let me tell you, our vast audience, what I told that audience up in the South Bronx today. That the minority will soon be the majority, Hispanics in America, whether you like it or not. You should not fear this. They're God-fearing people. They raise their families traditionally. They believe in education. They support the police, and they support the military. Yes. Look at poll after poll. Hispanics, in the way they live their lives, have more things in common with Republicans than Republicans would know, except they're not going to vote for you if you never visit them. If they've never seen you in their neighborhood, they're not going to vote for you. They'll vote for the Democrats that they've always voted for. It's time now, Republicans. Scrape the barnacles off your backside. Get your rear in gear. You have to go into neighborhoods where the only Republican they've ever seen is Abraham Lincoln on a $5 bill. Trump has paved the way. I certainly have done my fair share over the last 46 years. And it's time to have that urge to merge between moderate Democrats, Republicans, independents, because we outnumber the crazed liberal progressive Democrats of AOC, all out crazy, Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, leader of the Socialists of America, who was called by the crowd a bruja. You know what that means, Justin? Oh, that's right. You don't know what that means. You're learning to speak Hebrew, right? A little bit of Yiddish, I'll teach you that too. Just stay tuned. This movement cannot be stopped. Bringing moderate Democrats, independents, and Republicans together to take back our country, take back New York State from Kathy Hochul and from the swagger man with no plan, Eric Adams.
It's your guardian angel, Curtis Sliwa here, reminding you to click that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you never miss a beat of the action here at 77 WABC Radio. Thanks for joining us. And until next time on the Rip and Read, stay safe and stay informed.